साहब और मोअज़्ज़िज़ हज़रात और तलबा और तालिबात, since there are many students from Kerala and other states of South India, I'll speak in English. I was very happy to interact with these students who are here. Some of them are doing masters in JNU, Delhi University, Jamia Millia Islamia, MD University, Rohtak. They are studying in different courses. And one common theme is that they are all very committed to scoring good marks and doing well in academics. I was very happy to note that many of them want to go for PhD and other higher studies. Now, last 2 years have been very difficult for the education sector, and the deterioration in quality of delivery of education has not received the attention which, for example, employment has received. Now, the IAS report, which is the most reliable report on education, annual status of education survey, it found that the enrollment in private schools has gone down because people could not afford the fee of private schools. So it has happened after many decades. For all these years, the enrollment in the government schools was going down, the enrollment in private schools was going up. But we found that during the pandemic, the enrollment in government schools has increased, which means that people are hard pressed financially, and therefore they have withdrawn their children from private schools and admitted them to government schools. In fact, in the last 2 years, 2 batches of 5-year-olds have not attended any school physically, which is a matter of great tragedy, and it will be known only in future as to how their education has been very adversely affected. In fact, the enrollment and achievement even in secondary schools has gone down, and newspaper reports suggest that out of school girls are being married, and even boys have dropped out. What is not usually known is the digital divide. You know, those who are from privileged backgrounds, people like us, we think that everybody has a smartphone. Now, the IAS report has shown that 40% of children in class 1 and 2 did not have any access to a smartphone, none. And only about 20% had a regular access, which means 80% of children in class 1 and 2 had no full-time access to a smartphone. So you can imagine what would be their quality of education. And what I found even more surprising this morning when I was talking to students is that even JNU, the most leading university of India, has not started physical classes for all their courses. It was very disappointing for me to know that. I do not know what is happening in Jamia. I did not have enough time to find out what is happening in Delhi University. And we, of course, know very little what is happening in the rest of India. I do not know whether the physical classes have started in other universities. So this means that the quality of education is going to be a big challenge for these students who are here. Because with all the difficulties of poor quality of education, you would have now realized that online education does not meet even those standards which were poor in many universities, even those standards of education which were delivered in physical form. So this means that you have to work even harder to realize the same standard of education which you would have received through physical mode. Now, some of you have scored very well in your intermediate class 12 examination. I met a girl who scored 99%. She's here. She studied in LSR and now she is in Delhi University. So this means that I'm sure others have also done very well. That is why you have been selected for this scholarship. I had known Siddique Hassan Saab for more than 2 decades. I have visited him in Calicut. He was such a committed man. He prepared vision for Human Welfare Foundation, on which we are trying to work. But what is happening is that there is a lot of, news which would depress many of you. It depresses us also. But for you who have a career ahead, it is very necessary that you do not get depressed and you have full faith in the various constitutional and other bodies of the country and in the recruitment system which has been put in place after independence. Despite all the difficulties, our recruitment systems continue to be quite fair, very fair. In fact, one good decision of the current government was to abolish the interviews in the Staff Selection Commission. So in the lower level of posts in the government of India, there is no interview, which means that if you are good, if you are scoring well in your competitive examination, you have very good chances of finding employment. The point I am trying to drive is that do not be depressed. Despite what you read in the media, most of the people we meet who are in our circle, they may not be speaking out, but they are sympathetic to the cause of people who are not having a good time right now. My message to you is that you should work for whatever you want to do, whatever you want to achieve, despite all these difficulties, and you concentrate on that. And one last piece of advice, I am leaving more time for Mr. Qureshi because he will have a lot more to say. My request to some of you is, I am very sure that many of you can make it to the civil services. But for that, you have to start preparing now, especially those who are doing masters and even those who are doing bachelors. You have to start preparing now. I was also very happy to see that many of you are doing courses in journalism. So my advice to those who are pursuing journalism is that you must start writing even while you are pursuing your course. Now, the opportunities of writing are much more compared to what was the situation 10-15 years back when you only had print media. And you sent an article to print media, the editor would not even read it. But now you have so much of digital media that if you can write well, you will find somebody who will publish it. So if you are able to communicate to people at large, whatever experience, whatever you have experienced in your village, town, state, that will be a good addition to the developing literature on what is happening currently in India. I am sure your experience is very rich because we have made enormous progress despite all these difficulties of last 2 years. The level of education, not only the enrollment but also the quality of education has improved over the years. So that should reflect in your writings. So I'm very happy that you have been selected for this scholarship, and I'm also very thankful to the members who are associated with Human Welfare Foundation, Human Welfare Trust and other organizations which are working for the cause of education, health and other related social sectors. So with this, my best wishes to you, and I do hope that you will do very well in your future endeavors. Thank you.